Spirituality is important because as African people, our heart and soul of existence is our connection with the Creator. At the same time, we have to recognize that organized religion has been a distraction and in many cases could be considered an outright enemy of African progress. More people have been murdered in this world over Islam and Christianity than any other reason. And because of that, when you look at the role that religion played in our enslavement, both Islam and Christianity were used as weapons of enslavement against African people. The Arabs were in the slave trade before the Caucasians were. And so when you look at the justification for slavery in both religions, whether or not it was intended by Jesus or Muhammad to put forth such a doctrine, at the end of the day, nonetheless, both religions co-signed our enslavement and participated in it. I don't have an issue with Christianity. My mother's family is Christian. I don't have an issue with Islam. We were raised Muslim.
Yes.
That's where the name Umar comes from. Yes, sir. But at the same time, I see how religion has often served our oppressor much more than it has served us. I think religion is probably the greatest support base for white supremacy against African people than anything else. The fact that every religion basically, and there's few exceptions, there are exceptions, but there's few, every religion deifies oppression for black people.
What do you mean by deifies?
By deify, when you go to church or you go to the masjid, you're taught that our predicament as African people is divinely ordained. Everything is under the prerogative of God. And if you are a slave or free, if you are an oppressor or oppressed, it's because God set it up that way. So when you go to church, you're told that if you pray enough, if you improve your faith enough, if you donate enough money, God will reverse this. In other words, the big issue I have with black religion, it posits an external locus of control for black people. And it's dangerous because an external locus of control says that there's nothing I can do to transform this reality. Something outside of me has to come and liberate me. And the danger of that external locus of control that Islam and Christianity gives to black people is that it parallels the same external locus of control that slavery gave us. In other words, during slavery, your freedom could only come if your master bequeathed it to you. Your freedom could only come if the government ended slavery with the 13th Amendment. Something outside of you, government, social activism, benevolent white people had to make you free. And so in the church and in the masjid, the logic is the same. Although it's not the government or the white man that has to free you, it's God Almighty who has to free you. And because of that, it takes the responsibility off of us to transform our reality, and we give it to the government or we give it to God. Now,